Welcome to Art Should Be Illegal, a podcast about art and its place in our fair republic. My name, as always, is the lost to time and space Liv. My pronouns are it and she.
My name's Elissa, and my pronouns are she and they.
My name is Annie, and my pronouns are she and her.
And we've watched 1973's The Starlost.
The Starlost.
And a show that has not a lot of things going for it. Yeah, the how can I put this? The soundscape is awful. The acting is odd and stiff. The sets are cheap and bland. The script is predictable and also just
Liv,
there's so many things.
Liv, please. The sets are, bland and cheap and poorly made and wobble sometimes when they exist, which they do not always.
They do not always.
This is also poorly keyed with terrible effects.
Okay, but you said the acting is terrible and stiff. There are moments in this show where, the actors are on point, and every time it happens, I get so upset that it's only happening for brief periods.
Yeah,
it is, and I can't help but wonder. This has some big names. The main character is played by Keir Dullea, who was also in
Keir Dullea.
Yeah, Keir Dullea, thank you. Who was in 2001: A Space Odyssey. So he has the chops.
Wait,
he has the acting chops.
Why is he so bad in this?
Yeah, they got Mr. Space Odysseus.
Why is he so bad in this?
I don't know, but he is the lead in this.
He's what went wrong in his life to put him in this after doing 2001?
Yeah,
a few years prior.
I'm gonna work with Kubrick, so next I'm gonna work with who made this.
Yeah, the main female lead named Gay Rowan, which amazing name by the way.
Gay Rowan. I've never heard of a Gay Rowan.
She had no credits going into this. She was a nobody. She didn't have too much of a afterward.
Well, why would she? She was awful in this.
Right.
She was, and then she went on to be awful, I assume, in other TV shows, because that is the most of her credits.
Most of the cast and crew in this were just random Canadian people they found because of the way Canadian tax credits work.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. We should just make Canada a real country by making them the 51st state.
I mean, I think maybe you should make each province its own state.
No. We don't want too many new senators, so one state.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Elissa, this was your choice from the archives.
Derailing the episode.
Would you take us in on what is I've watched the first 3 episodes.
Yes, we watched the first 3 episodes.
And not a second more.
So I want to talk about...
Please take us away.
I want to talk about the pilot in some detail, and then from there, we can kind of go into general impressions, and then I'll give you the backstory that explains everything that you've seen.
Wait, before you do this, are you telling me that someone produced an entire pilot and then shopped it around, and someone said, yes, I want to make this?
This isn't technically a pilot. They, in fact, even the script for the first episode, debatable if you would call it a pilot.
The script such as it is.
Yeah, I'll go into it more later. But this, when this was picked up, the main writer at the time didn't even know that they were picking it up. And he didn't know what was being shopped around. And he didn't know that it was being shopped around. He thought it was going to be pitched to one place. Yeah.
Oh.
The production of this was a nightmare.
Yeah, what?
That sounds insane.
Let's just focus in on the writer first. His name, he's credited as Cordwainer Bird, but his real name is, of course, Harlan Ellison.
Wait, Harlan Ellison wrote this?
Famed sci-fi author Harlan Ellison.
I have no mouth and I must scream. Harlan Ellison?
Yes.
I Robot Harlan Ellison.
Like,
Yeah,
can do no wrong, Harlan Ellison.
Yes, he wrote the original script for the first episode. He came up with the idea, and that's why the idea behind the show is like oddly compelling. Like
the idea is extremely compelling.
A really cool idea in here, and it's so frustrating to watch because you just see it repeatedly undermining itself and never living up to its potential.
They just make shitty Star Trek out of it.
They do.
When you pitched this
Star Trek
to us, when you said we should watch this, and of course, these good Censors, we are your captive audience in this, as we always are. It sounded extremely good.
Yeah, I read the synopsis. I read like the synopsis premise on Wikipedia before I started watching it. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, if the premise had sort of been fulfilled, this would maybe have been the greatest piece of science fiction television ever to be produced.
Yes. And unfortunately, we got this.
Yeah, as you can probably tell from how I'm speaking, it did not end this way.
So
even begin this way.
Here's how frustrating the implementation of the premise is. The opening shot is a miniature of the spaceship that all the action takes place on. The design of that spaceship undermines the premise.
Yes.
Oh, how so?
It extremely
does.
How does it undermine the premise, Liv?
Okay.
I'll explain more once we start talking about the premise itself, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we start by seeing the spaceship.
Yes.
It's just like it's a shot of a miniature. It's a nice looking miniature.
It's not a terrible miniature. And it's
no budget is what I'm imagining. It's a great miniature.
Yeah.
Big long thing with all this like network of domes surrounding it. It's interesting looking. Okay, so we open on our leads, and they're standing in front of a big window, and they're like really poorly keyed out against a blue screen, so you can see a fringe around all of them.
Yeah, it's very, very obvious that this is blue screen. All of it is blue screen.
Yeah, and they're looking out at space, and they're in awe of it, and the performances aren't terrible here. We're doing an in media res thing. There's no context to it. I feel like they're kind of just wasting time, honestly.
In medias res is shit. Never do it unless you have a really, really good reason, like a really specific reason to do it.
Yeah,
I imagine that if you saw the first real seconds of this TV show, you would immediately change the channel to anything else.
That's because in medias res is a crutch for bad writing. So be a better writer. Have written something better as your opening.
Yeah. And you can kind of tell why they didn't want to go straight into it because we dissolve into the face of none other than Mr. Sterling Hayden
I love to see.
Many 50s westerns, probably best known today for Dr. Strangelove as Jack D. Ripper.
They will take our vital essence. We must
That is wild. What happened in his life to like, why didn't he just rest on his laurels or do anything else?
Dude needed money.
Interesting thing about Mr. Sterling Hayden. He is barely acting here. He kind of just sounded like this. He is a weird man.
I love that. Just being able to show up and just go like, are you going to do any voice work? No. just gonna talk about the essential essence
stuff in the 70s where he's basically putting in the same performance. He was gone at this point. In the 50s when they were doing the McCarthy bullshit, he and they were doing the Hollywood blacklist, he named names.
Oh no.
And he was rewarded by Ronald Reagan, the head of the SAG at the time, with a massive career. He became a huge star, sold out all of his friends because they had apparently threatened his family.
Oh no.
And
jeez.
So he becomes like a miserable alcoholic and kind of just ends up imploding and destroying himself. So he does some work in the 70s. By the 80s, he buys a river barge and lives in Europe, just kind of sailing around.
Okay.
And that is and drinking himself to death. There's a really, really interesting documentary that was like a profile on him. Like it's like a series of interviews on his barge from the early 80s called The Pharos of Chaos, which was the name of his boat.
Jeez.
Also,
that's amazing.
That goes hard.
Insanely fucking badass name for a boat.
Yeah.
You're just sailing up on the Danube on my my insane boat.
Yeah.
Did he design it to look like it was sailing on the River Styx?
No.
Because that would have gone hard.
So he is playing Jeremiah, our villain, for the first episode. And they're having this big group meeting that kind of drags about how our one of our three leads, Devin, who is played by Keir Dullea, is possessed of a wickedness and can't be allowed to marry his co-lead Rachel. He apparently asks too many questions and is the poorest man in town, and so everybody fucking hates him. And he doesn't have a real job.
Yeah, it should be said they're living in some sort of weird Amish kind of world, except of course the set is dressed as to look as it looks like a spaceship. So they're living in the Amish spaceship.
Yeah,
you can see in the background. You can
see the bulkhead
of the dome, but they're space Amish.
They're space Amish.
Wouldn't you be space Amish if you could be?
No.
Oh, my bad.
Oh. So he goes and he speaks to the blacksmith Garth, who is our third lead, and Garth is all pissed because Rachel has been promised to him. Because he's a good boy and doesn't ask any questions and does what he's told. And
like hammering a piece of plate
Rachel out from under him.
Oh God. Yeah, he's blacksmith in the worst blacksmith set I've ever seen. It's built so poorly and cheaply that they couldn't even have an anvil in there.
Yeah,
they just have a piece of steel.
The quote unquote anvil bounces when he hammers it. So
yes.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
And it sounds sort of hollow as well, which like the sound design is also very poor.
Yeah.
It just sounds like he's whacking a piece of metal. It doesn't sound like he's whacking an anvil.
Also, the total population of this place appears to be like 20.
Yeah.
So there's some drama.
Thing feels like it's 30 feet wide.
It does. There's some drama. He's kicked out, I want to say, of their community,
so
and
he is he's lamenting his situation. He goes he meets with Abraham, who's an old guy, and Abraham himself is disillusioned with the leadership and doesn't really believe any of the garbage the people in charge are saying. So naturally, these two get along.
I want to point out, this shit is so fucking slow. We are like 10 minutes in and we're on plot point number 2.
Yeah, we're like nearing the end of the first act already. And this guy puts in such a weird performance.
Yeah, he's weird enough putting, but it's not well acted.
Every time Devin says his name, he goes, yes.
No, he's like looking away from Devin. He's looking away from Devin. Devin goes, Abraham, and he goes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so like I hope I'm that fucking crotchety and weird when I'm old.
Yeah, and they don't.
It's weird. Much. They don't. I think, and I kind of want to speed it along because it is so slow. Basically, he is banished from their realm and has to go into the tunnels of death where people die and don't come back.
He opens the death door.
Devin promises Rachel that he's gonna stop her from marrying Garth, and she's super pumped. And he goes out at night and sees the leadership guys, and they're recording the voice of God, the computer God that they all worship. Sterling Hayden is there recording this into a machine, having the computer change the voice and then playing it back. And the thing he's recording is the voice saying that they need to kill Devin for being a shit. And that's not great. And for some reason, when he's doing this, he puts the tape in, records the message, takes the tape out, and then replays the message.
Yeah, it didn't really make any sense.
And Devin walks up and confronts them and then steals the tape and runs away.
Yeah, the thing is, these guys are like 60. He could probably just fucking take them.
Yeah, probably. Like, they're very old and he seems to be fairly fit. I don't see why he couldn't just kick the shit out of him.
And Sterling Hayden like needs a cane to walk. Like, you could take that guy.
Yeah, just take his cane, whack him with it. He's done.
I thought that's what he had stolen when he ran up and grabbed something and ran away. I thought
runs
he
up,
for a second
steals his cane, runs away giggling.
Oh my God.
So they rally up a posse. Devin tries to convince Rachel and her family to leave with him. And they were not that, but like that it's all a sham and they want nothing to do with him. So he is fleeing this angry mob of, all 12 people that live in the dome.
Okay, but also like
all
the way that
random
it's
Canadians
filmed,
they could find to be extras.
The way that it's filmed looks like a 2000s VHS video game.
Yes. Well,
it does. It does have this weird. I'm going to be told about the future mission in a second now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
Of the way it's poorly shot and keyed out. Like there's a fringe around everyone in almost every scene because they weren't using real sets. And it's a disaster. And I'm going to go into more detail later on about why the effects look so bad, but it looks so bad, it's hilarious. Like props that are sitting on the ground have you can tell when somebody's got to interact with something because there's always a blue fringe around it. You can tell that it's not part of the set.
Yeah, it's like a really cheap video game where you can go like, oh, right.
Yeah. I love an FMV.
Yeah.
You do enjoy it.
Okay, but wait. So Devin like goes through a door that's marked beyond his death.
Yeah. So he meets Abraham back at the door that Abraham always hangs out outside of. That is, it says beyond his death on it. And Abraham, realizing that he's being pursued, tells him that he found 2 keys long ago, but never had the guts to leave the dome. And he uses one of them to open the door so Devin can escape. And
the death door.
Yeah, and he presumably gives the key to Devin, although we don't see him. And Devin rushes through, and for the first time in his life, he's leaving the dome, and he has a moment of just like standing there freaking out. And then we get the funniest scene in TV history. Because
that I laughed very hard.
We're in what they call the bounce tube. I don't think it's actually referred to that in the show, but that is what it's called.
No, they do. The computer
tube.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just like there's a foam pad that they obviously cut out themselves. And he steps on it, and it just launches you down this long hallway to get to the main ship. And the acting here is so hilarious. He looks preposterous. He can't fly and he's just kind of flopping around in the air. It's so beautiful and so perfect, and it makes watching this so worthwhile.
Okay, but it's not just that. It's also the fact that it's edited so poorly that in one shot he is standing there, and in the next he's just like falling. Yeah, and there's just really there's nothing interstitial, and all the sound cuts out when it happens. It looks and then it cuts immediately to commercial break. So it's like, wait, did I understand what I just saw?
In the middle of this, while it's totally silent and you're watching this guy fly, you get jump scared by the fucking like little
the bumper
that they got where they pop the fucking title out for you, and you just hear da, 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 da.
It's so loud. It's so goddamn loud.
It's so extremely loud.
It's terrifying. It scares me every time I watch it. Back in the dome, they just assume that through the door was a bottomless pit and Devin is dead, and there is much rejoicing.
Yeah.
Then we cut back, and Devin is still flying ridiculously down the hallway. It's incredible. He finally lands and gets his shit together and wanders into a random side room and meets the ship's computer system. And it's just a magic box that exposits all the important information that Devin and the audience will need to know for the entire rest of the series.
I don't know who this actor is, but I love him and I love his performance.
He did a handful of, let me find that guy's name again. It is William Osler. And I don't have any further notes about him in here, but I did do a little looking into him. And he did a little bit of voice work through like the 80s. He probably had one of the best careers of the people that are in this. But yeah, he is wonderful. He's a joy to watch as he's pretending to be a malfunctioning computer.
And I actually really like this scene as an exposition scene. Because like, the Devin is trying to understand what the fuck is going on with this spaceship, which he doesn't know that it's a spaceship yet.
Yeah, he's a like a farmer, right? He has no clue what any of this shit is.
Yeah, when like the computer's like space, he's like, "What is space?"
Yeah,
but like he's interacting with a malfunctioning computer, trying to understand anything about what's going on, and it's just like it's nice exposition. It's fun.
Yeah, the computer keeps cutting out.
Yeah,
when he's asking it questions, and there are just pieces of information he can't get.
Yeah. And it's like it makes me wish that the entire show had been this interesting.
Yeah. And there's a gimmick here where like when you touch the chair, the computer turns on, and he figures this out fairly quickly. And so whenever the computer malfunctions, he has to physically get up and then sit back down, and then the computer turns on again. And that's how he resets it every time it malfunctions. It's a nice touch.
Why would you design a computer that way? It's so weird.
I don't know. It's a very 70s concept of what a computer would be.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, when I'm watching a video, sometimes I like to pace around because, I don't know, autism.
Yeah. And this series is old sci-fi as fuck.
Yeah.
It really makes you appreciate what Star Wars did for sci-fi in that, like...
ruined it?
It solidified some concepts.
The difference between this and Captain EO is like...
night and day.
13 years. Like, it is a year longer than the gap between fucking Children of Men and that Blade Runner movie everybody likes. That I haven't seen.
Could you imagine this TV show, but at a budget of $100 million?
God, no. I wouldn't want to watch that.
Yeah. It would be.
I don't want to watch this. I wouldn't want to watch that.
I would want to watch it because if they had that budget, Harlan Ellison would have stuck around.
Oh, fuck. You're so right.
Yeah. So the ship the computer explains that they're on the Earthship Ark, and that for the last 500 years they've been fleeing a calamity of galactic proportions that destroyed the Earth. And the goal of building this ship was to find a habitable world that humans could settle on.
They specifically don't have the information about what that calamity was. Like, he asks and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the computer just breaks. The Ark itself is 50 miles wide and 200 miles long. 3 million people from different cultures were locked in separate domes called biospheres to preserve their distinct aspects during the trip. For some reason, we needed Amish representation. An accident occurred about 100 years into the voyage. And since then, the ship has been running in emergency mode with all the biospheres cut off from one another. And to further complicate matters, the ship went off course and is heading toward a Class G star similar to the sun, a solar star as they keep referring to it. And Devin needs to divert the course of the ship to save it. There's your plot. That's everything you need to know. If any part of it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. After about 4 or 5 episodes, the series almost completely forgets about it.
Okay, and here's where what I was saying comes up about how the design of the miniature ruins the premise. They have to go from one end of the ship to the other. We haven't gotten there yet, but like that ends up being what the premise of the entire show is, at least for the beginning part.
Yeah.
But if the entire ship is like one long tube and then all of the biodomes are on the sides, they don't have to go through the biodomes to get to the other end of the ship.
And there's ostensibly one really long hallway that goes the whole length. And we know that they have the bounce tubes. So why wouldn't you just take the moving sidewalk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if the ship had been like just a bunch of biodomes together with like a couple of maintenance areas in different parts, or like even better, maintenance areas within some of the biodomes, then they're forced to interact with those societies, get people in those societies on their side. Like, it just makes for a more interesting meta narrative.
Yeah. And my understanding is that is closer to the original premise.
Yeah.
That it wasn't meant to be an aerodynamic ship. It doesn't need to be in an atmosphere. And so it was just going to be kind of a mess of different, like, you've got to pass through all these things to get there. It was never meant to be traversed.
Yeah. And like, why would it be meant to be traversed?
Yeah.
It's
supposed to be so large that it's just like, you just live in your contained area and you do your job. And there are people on the other side. They do their job there. You never meet.
Yeah. So it's just already falling apart.
And on top of that, these characters don't know where anything is. So
yeah. And so like from literally the first shot of the show, the premise is falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so now knowing the nature of the ship and, you know, like what a ship is, Devin goes back to Cypress Corners to inform everyone. And when he gets there, they're having his funeral. And
which is, it is legitimately funny.
Yeah. He's like, what's all the celebration about? He is, he tries to tell everyone what's up and they cover his mouth and he's immediately sentenced to death using the tape that they were recording earlier.
They were ready for this.
It's really not clear what his plan was.
Yeah, but apparently everyone hated him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone in the society hates him. What was your plan?
Everyone except Garth and Rachel. And Garth seems perpetually angry at him.
Yeah, Garth seems to like tolerate him.
Yeah. And that's his best friend. So Rachel comes and visits him in his goofy little cell. There just aren't any guards. I guess probably because they've got 12 people total.
Yeah, they're not a large society.
Yeah. And Devin tells Rachel what he's learned, and they profess their undying love for each other before Rachel's father appears and drags her off. And seconds later, Garth shows up and just starts prying the fucking bars open.
No, Elissa, you've left out an amazing thing where Rachel's like, no, father, I love him. And then the dad is like, well, then you can throw the first stone. Like, what?
Well, then you can kill him. That'll help, right?
Yeah, like, it's bananas.
We'll give you the privilege of being the one to execute him because you love him.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me?
Strange.
Are the Amish actually like this?
I don't know. Not.
Okay, but then Garth shows up and starts like prying open the cage and is like, just fucking go, okay? I don't want you to die, but I don't want you here. So just
he's like, leave. Nobody should be stoned to death. Just leave. Just get the fuck out. We know you can leave now. And
just leave. Like, no, but wait. He says, just leave Rachel alone. I'm gonna marry her. It's gonna be fine. Please just leave. And Garth immediately goes and gets Rachel.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just like, Garth, what the fuck? Sorry, Devin goes and gets Rachel, not Garth. But it's like, Garth, what did you think was going to happen?
Garth goes
These
back
two
to
clearly
his
love each other.
Seconds later, they come in and they're like, Devin escaped and he took Rachel with him. Garth is just like, what? How could this have happened?
It's like, what did you think was going to happen, you fucking idiot?
Yeah. So the mob goes to confront Abraham, who talks some shit at them. And then seeing that Garth is ready to leave, excitedly gives him the other key. And so Garth leaves and everyone else is permanently locked inside the dome with no way out. So they won't be a problem again.
Do they come up again? Is any of this ever brought up again?
To my knowledge, no.
Why
would it be?
Never see any of those characters again. And this is like a fully episodic series. Like there is not going to be any like meaningful meta progression after like the second episode. Actually, no, there's none after the first episode because they find the bridge, which happens to just be one turn in the other direction from where Devin went
that was
originally.
easy.
Instead of turning left, he just should have turned right and he would have been at the bridge, apparently. They go to enter. Garth catches them and confronts Devin. And when they explain that Rachel left of her own accord and has no intention to return, he's like, well, fine. Then I'll just stick around here and protect her until she's willing to return on her own.
No, but wait, there's another great bit. Where they have to go through like a scanner for weapons at one point. And Garth has this shitty little crossbow, right? And he's like, uh-oh, it'll take away my crossbow. And he goes through and it's just like, no weapons.
Yeah.
Doesn't count it. It's like, fuck you and your primitive bullshit. Like, what was the point of having that scanner? Why was that there?
I don't know.
Don't
it's just there
worry
to look
about
futuristic.
It's so stupid.
What would the future have? I know, a security scanner. Does it do anything? No.
Yeah, no.
Also, there's a huge gap between the security scanner and the wall that you could easily just go around.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to squeeze through it, but like you could.
Yeah. I think it goes in the big bucket of this TV show's. Don't worry about it. Please,
we can
don't
presume though that there's supposed to be like a guard on duty or something, right? And like
I guess
maybe if
whatever.
the metal detector goes off,
don't posthumously write this show to be any better than it is.
Yeah. So then we get back to the beginning.
Yeah. Garth is going to spend the entire series third wheeling and trying to get laid by every random woman he finds on the ship. So.
Okay, that doesn't happen. That does not happen in the first 3 episodes because they meet no women in the second and third episodes.
That's true. For a long time, there are no women.
Troublingly few women in this TV show.
Around like episode I don't know 6 or so, we start seeing some women. And
wait, you watched that much?
Oh, I watched 10 episodes.
Why?
I don't want to watch the other 6, but it's really painful.
What are you doing?
I read the plot summaries and it looks dire. Because as previously stated, the whole plot, the whole thing about the ship and all the everything else is sort of thrown aside for a monster of the week kind of deal, where it's like, oh look, then this thing happens and then something else, some bullshit happens.
I will say the production does improve, and over time the keying gets much better. And
why wasn't it good to begin with?
Spend most of their time on actual sets later on.
Okay,
even if they are shitty sets, and there aren't very many of them.
Before we get too far away from it, I do want to take a moment to appreciate that when they get to the bridge, they see like some skeletons and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's all just like blown up. And they look outside and they see the ship like laid out before them through a window. As well as space. And they have like these different reactions to it. Like Devin is just like mystified. Rachel is like in wonder and Garth is like terrified, right? And they're giving actually really good facial performances. And it's like one of the only good moments of acting in this pilot. And I'm like, where is the rest of it?
Yeah, well, there are multiple reasons, and we're going to get to those here in a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, the only other like noteworthy thing that happens in here, we're back at the beginning of the episode now, where they're standing there looking out the window, and it really does feel like they're trying to burn a little bit of time. And we get a glimpse of the solar star they're flying into, and it's big enough that they are definitely dead. Like they've got maybe a couple hours to live. They are potentially minutes away at the speed you'd have to be going to actually hit a star.
Yeah. Like it's bigger than the sun in the sky is, meaning like on Earth, meaning that they are closer to that star than the Earth is to the sun.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be a similar type of star, meaning similar size of star.
The show is consistently very sweaty. People are constantly drenched in sweat. Why
do we keep watching things where everyone's so sweaty, like Mads Mikkelsen and now all these things?
Yeah, why people are wet?
Part of it is that this is the 70s.
Yeah,
they had air conditioning, I'm pretty certain.
Presumably it's getting hot in there because they are inches away from a sun.
Yeah.
Also, I have another question.
Toasted.
Are there any black people in this?
Yes, eventually.
Eventually. Okay.
There is an
It's
episode
amazing.
starring a black man and black woman.
Wow. So progressive.
Yeah. So we do see. We also see some black people in like extra roles as things
okay.
go on.
I did see some in the third episode, but
in
like
the third episode,
none of them spoke. None of
I
them.
don't think any of them have speaking lines. But yeah, there are there are more black people in this than there are in like say Friends or something. So
Okay.
Oh,
I've never seen Friends, so
or Frasier or
Oh, God,
Seinfeld.
Frasier.
Any sitcom from the 90s. Anyway,
Oh my
that is
God.
the complete first episode of this show. And
so I hear that you have some backstory for us.
yeah, because there must be a reason why something which with an amazing premise becomes whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, how did Harlan Ellison's brain baby become the fuck this? Talk at me, mommy.
This series is such a mess. The production does improve over the course of it. There's never really a sense of the space. It always just feels like they're teleporting from one weird wacky villain to the next. It's dumb. It's never clear why they are where they are or where they are even in the ship. It's a mess. That is the result of kind of Ellison and the nature of his exit from the show. So yeah, I relied on two things mostly for this. I used Ellison's own essay that he wrote on the production of this called "Somehow I Don't Think We're in Kansas, Toto," and that is about. If you're familiar with Harlan Ellison, you know he was a very angry man, and
Really, the guy that wrote Am.
Believe it or not, the guy that wrote Am kind of like that in real life. So you got to take some of what he says with a grain of salt. I also relied on this science fiction television series, episode guides, histories, and casts and credits for 62 primetime shows, 1959 through 1989, by Mark Phillips and Frank Garcia, which had some amazing. I was going into it looking for information on the camera system. I got like interviews with a lot of the people that produced it and
That's
a ton of backstory.
How long is that book?
That book is quite long. It's very long. It's big.
It might be too long.
There are like 30, probably more. There's probably like 40 or 50 shows in there, and like doing like 20 pages of like dense texting.
Okay.
I don't say that was more than 20 pages. It's probably like 30 or 40. So per Ellison, this was originally pitched as a mini series, and it was supposed to be a co-production deal between 20th Century Fox and the BBC, and it'd be shot in London. He was super fired up to go shoot something in London. He was so on board for this. He apparently crazy about London. Robert Klein, the executive in charge of this, initially told him that they were looking for something like the book The Fugitive, but in space. And this is kind of how a lot of the film industry works. You'll have an exec say they're looking for a kind of thing, and writers are just kind of expected to go do that. Ellison predictably hated this idea and pitched him on a bunch of other things that he wasn't too enthused about. But finally, he gives him the pitch for the Starlost, which Ellison wasn't that excited about. He thought it was derivative, I guess.
Of what?
And
Who could?
yeah. His original pitch was 500 years from now, the Earth is about to suffer a cataclysm that will possibly destroy all life on the planet. And time is short, so the greatest minds and philanthropists get together and construct a ship between the orbits of the Earth and the Moon. And it's a giant arc, 1,000 miles long, comprised of hundreds of self-contained biospheres. And in each of these biospheres, they put a segment of the Earth's population and isolate it to keep the culture intact. The ark is then just kind of sent off into the stars to try to find a place where people can go. And yeah, the Earth is destroyed. But 100 years in, an accident kills the entire crew. And in his version of the script, which he published under the title Phoenix Without Ashes, which was then later converted into a comic, there's some storytelling there. The bridge is a vacuum, and it's clear that like they got hit with like a fucking they got asteroided in the bridge, and
they got by space.
Yeah, they got spaced. Kills the crew, seals the biosphere worlds. There's no way to get around, and the voyage goes on with everyone trapped in developing their societies without any outside influence. And after 500 years, everyone forgets about the Earth, and it's like a myth. It's a legend. It's Atlantis, right? They don't know that they're in space. They don't know what space is. And each community thinks that it's the entire world. It's 50 square miles with a metal ceiling. And Devin, space Amish, discovers their secret and learns about the Earth and everything, and gets chased off. He drops into a hole in the ground. Everyone assumes he's dead. And, you get the show, right? In order to keep the ship from flying into a star, which was apparently part of Ellison's idea, despite the stupidity.
It's a fine premise.
I don't know. Flying into a star is really dumb. It's for a man that's so like, we need to make this realistic. It's a very preposterous thing.
It's dramatic, though.
Yeah, he needs to convince a sufficient number of biosphere worlds to band together in a communal attempt to learn how the Ark works, repair it, and reprogram it to reprogram the flight, or they'll be incinerated by the sun that they're heading toward.
I mean, I'm all for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a way more interesting premise. And Klein loved this idea, even though Ellison himself was pretty unenthused about it. So Ellison is convinced eventually to give him a recording of what's basically the pitch, that same pitch that I just said to you. And Klein, promises it's not going to be transcribed or shopped around or anything. It's just going to be taken to the BBC so they could hear it from Ellison. He then, after several months, gets word that it's going to be a full series. It's not just going to be 8 episodes like they were originally planning. And he finds out that the BBC wanted nothing to do with this shit, and it was instead sold to CTV in Canada, and it's going to be a co-production between them and NBC.
I see.
Yeah. Or at least NBC is in charge of it in the United States. I don't know that they weren't like putting money into this, I don't think. Ellison was furious about having to shoot in Toronto and about being volunteered basically to go to Toronto to make a TV show.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off about that too if I were him.
Yeah, and like London had a very big and prestigious film industry. Canada was where you went to go make cheap trash that the government paid for.
Okay, I do want to...
Case in point.
Yes.
I do want to rephrase. I wouldn't be pissed off about being forced to go to Toronto. I'd be pissed off about being forced to go anywhere for a job.
Yeah, and just having someone volunteer you for it.
Yeah, that's what I'd be pissed about.
I mean,
I would actually love to go to Toronto.
Same, but also I'd be pissed if someone said, "Yeah, you get to go to the ass end of nowhere for your industry to produce some trash. Now go make trash."
It'd be like if I have to go to like Pensacola, Florida for my job.
It'd be like if I had to go to
Denmark.
Wow.
An important detail, like the Canadian film industry.
That was a cheap shot.
But it makes quite a bit of stuff these days. It has come a long way from where it was.
Yes.
In the 70s, there was no real film industry there. Most of the shit they were doing was like documentary work. And like narrative TV did not get made in Canada, period, in the 70s. Yeah.
My understanding is that narrative TV in Canada like really came about in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah. Until the Red Green Show, they had
like the Red Green Show and Stargate, actually.
Yeah.
And also a lot of things, basically anything that's filmed in quote unquote New York.
Yeah. They always just use Toronto now.
Yeah. Well, like there's a show that I really liked called Dead Like Me that was set in Seattle but filmed in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic one, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Klein apparently just assumed that Ellison would be happy to move to Canada. And
why not?
They started getting all the plans together to start filming with him on board as story editor. Ellison was so straight out of the gate, he's fucking furious. And then there's a writer's strike. And
oh, hell yes.
Yes. And
we love labor.
So, yeah, Ellison is not working during this. And they hired a scab writer after getting turned down by 1 million people, apparently, according to Ellison. And this guy put together a show Bible of stuff that, you know, wasn't part of Ellison's vision, and that he keeps saying in his essay wasn't part of the show.
Also, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, whatever it was bad. I don't know how much of it made it into the final thing, but they apparently started making all their preparations to start filming and start running the show in the fall off of this. It's July when Ellison gets this news.
Oh, God.
And yeah. And so they finally the strike breaks, and Ellison gets to work and finishes his actual show Bible. But they're already building sets that have nothing to do with what he was writing. And they built
sets.
They were apparently building sets.
Okay, I'm predicting that Ellison's going to be like, fuck off with those sets, and that's why there's no sets.
Yeah, kind of. There are a couple of things that happen here that lead to a problem. So they're already gearing up to shoot, and at this point, what they want Ellison to do is assign script duties to the Canadian writers that they hired, none of whom have any experience writing sci-fi.
Incredible.
Yes. And
this high concept show run by Harlan fucking Ellison, we're just going to give it to randos.
Yeah, we're going to give it to a bunch of randos. And these guys haven't written episodic drama even, let alone sci-fi.
Okay, wait, okay. Oh, no. Important question. Was Harlan Ellison like Harlan Ellison at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
They sold this on his name alone at the end of the day. And so he was already a big name. And these guys, these writers they brought in, they weren't weird freaks. And to come up with good sci-fi stuff, you need to be a weird freak. And
yes.
Ellison was furious because all the ideas they had were really derivative. And some of those come through in some of the episodes of the series because his things that he noted were they were coming up with talking plant stories, giant ant stories, space pirates, Westerns transplanted into alien environments, Adam and Eve, and after the bomb type scenarios.
Oh, God, and, they're hacks.
Yes, they're hacks. It's trash. And he's supposed to be directing them. So they do bring in another sci-fi writer, Ben Bova, who also wrote a satirical novel about the production of the series. He's a big name at this point, too. Okay. The novel that he wrote about this was called The Star-Crossed. And apparently it's pretty accurate. They really just kind of changed the names.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Ellison apparently told the network execs that he wanted an assistant story editor to help with rewrites, which were going to be a mess with such inexperienced writers. According to Ellison, one of them got so mad, one of the executives got so mad at Ellison that he told him that he expected him to lock himself in a hotel room and not leave until the first drafts of 10 scripts were done.
You said that to Harlan Ellison?
Yes.
Good luck with that. You fucking dumbass.
So apparently at the same time, Ellison's mother was like deathly ill in Florida. So the exec does give him a window to like fly and visit her before he's expected to write everything. And Ellison is still furious that he was given a return to work date.
Yeah.
His mother does pull through, and he immediately turns around to go write a whole fucking TV series. And he's at the same time that he's knocking out a pilot script, and they don't have all the actors cast. They're planning to use this camera system called Magicam. And it's an interesting system. It consists of 2 camera rigs, one that is on set with the actors, and it's like you got a camera and a blue screen behind it, behind the actors. And you can move these 2 together and get different, have a moving camera with a, virtual set behind them. The other part of this is a camera rig that is used on a model set and mirrors the actions of the studio camera.
Oh, God.
And so you can use miniatures to create the set and save a ton of money and time and effort and make much bigger scenes while, having multiple angles on your actors.
So that's really cool. Why did it look so
sounds
bad?
Amazing.
And why did the miniatures that they used look so shitty?
So the problem is they were doing this in 1973, and the technology didn't launch until about 1975. Actually, it was later than that even. It was, I think, it started getting actual use in releases. Like some music videos did it in like the late 70s, like 78, 79. It was used, Carl Sagan's Cosmos series. It was used in that.
Oh.
So like it did work years later, but they're still developing the technology while they're trying to film at this point. And it just didn't fucking work. And they were on a super tight schedule here. The tech wasn't there, and Ellison is writing scripts for fucking massive productions. And you don't shoot in Canada when you have a ton of money. So everything ends up getting shot flat against a blue screen, and that's why the whole thing looks like shit.
God damn it.
Yeah, like they were mid-production when they had to switch to this, and nothing was ready, and the studio they had was too small. They didn't have enough space for sets, so it was just like, we're going to build part of a set, and then we're going to put a blue screen in, and that's going to give us the rest of the set.
So what I'm hearing then is Ellison was sold on joining this project with a bunch of blatant lies.
Yes, according to Ellison.
And that's why it's like that.
Yes.
Is he wrote it to be really big, and they just didn't have money and tried to film really big scripts with no money.
I think as we go a little bit further into this, you'll see that he was writing really big scripts and they were paring them down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that led to a big conflict. The budget they had was between 100,000 and 125,000. Compare that to Captain EO.
Yeah, so about 6 seconds of a minute in Captain EO.
Yes, and I think that's just for the pilot, but I'm not sure. The thing I was reading didn't specify. It has to be just for episode 1, or you wouldn't be able to film.
Yeah, no, but
still,
that's not a lot of money for 50 minutes of television.
Commercials had higher budgets than that. It's a miserable budget. They were working in a tiny studio. Even with the production being as janky as it was, they went over budget by 50%.
Of course they did. They hired a caterer.
They didn't just have somebody pick up some string cheese on the way to the set. Yeah. Like classic indie production thing. So they finally find a guy to help.
Okay, I might actually retract a little, because if you plop 150,000 American dollars into an inflation calculator, that's like $1 million in today's money.
That's still nothing for a 50-minute pilot of a high concept sci-fi series.
Okay. What does something like this cost?
And where you've got star talent on board, that's the other problem.
Yeah. I mean, like, look at like, it's not a good comparison, but like, look at an episode of Game of Thrones.
I mean, look at the budget of a feature film from this era, and like what those were costing. Now, keep in mind, this is half the length of a feature film. They were still running, $5 million for a movie back then.
Yeah. So this is like 10% of that, maybe.
Yeah, this is an indie budget. Like,
with star talent.
Yeah, with star talent.
Because, like, don't forget, the main guy is still coming off of 2001.
Yes. Like he's hot off of that. And they're trying to build this as it's fucking 2001 guy.
Imagine being hot off 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is your height of your career. You're going, I can only go up, and then nope.
Yep.
You're in whatever the fuck this is.
Yep. So they finally find a guy to help with the editing. And from the way Ellison describes it, he didn't really bother doing his due diligence here and just kind of goes, yeah, whatever. So this guy, Norman Klenman, comes in, and he is going to be so important to this.
Fucking Norman.
Yeah. Norman Klenman he is responsible for the show being what it is. He comes in and is like, hey man, I don't really get your show Bible. I don't think I really understand science fiction. Ellison freaks out.
Yeah.
As he should.
Yeah.
He probably should have vetoed this guy being hired, but he just didn't. He doesn't go into any detail about how he fucked this up. But he was
trapped in a hotel room for a month writing 10 scripts by himself.
Yeah, someone looks at a budget and goes like, well, it's this or no one. So, okay.
So Klenman on Ellison's Bible.
Also, name alert, Klenman.
Yes.
Klenman. Norman Klenman.
Norman Klenman.
Oh, God.
So he said, when I read Ellison's Bible for the Starlost and his first draft of the opening episode, I nearly gave birth to a cow. Bad is one thing, boring is another. And he went on to say, when I got to Toronto, they gave me this pilot to read, and it was dreadful biblical nonsense.
I bet it fucking slapped. I bet it rocked.
Well, we'll go into that. Oh. The idea of people stranded on a sphere on a spaceship wasn't bad, but everything else was boring. I rewrote it and tried to lighten it up and make the characters more three-dimensional. Ellison later went moaning and groaning around the country, advertising his disappointment with the Starlost series. The strange thing was Harlan later won a Writers Guild of America award for his original script.
Oh my!
He got a WGA award for it.
God, but Klenman can go fuck himself.
The rest of his career was convinced that his idea was genius and Ellison's was dog shit.
Klenman should.
Oh no!
Oh my God!
Yeah. Ellison's script was reworked and into a prose format and then published as a short story.
Imagine walking around saying, "I'm a better writer than Harlan Ellison."
Right?
Like you better have some fucking chops behind that, and this guy did not.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, so somewhere in here as this shit's going on, Ellison decides to just walk out on the whole thing. And
because for him,
he doesn't go into a lot of detail here, but Klenman ends up replacing him. And now he is in charge of the show.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I was going to say just one interesting note about Klenman is that he basically does not work after the Starlost. He writes one episode of TV and then a TV movie that's shite apparently, and a screenplay that may not have been made. That is a little unclear.
Yeah, I've got some notes about that here at the end as we get through this because Klenman. Klenman, we're going to learn fascinating things about Klenman. He's really the main character of this.
On the other hand, he had been writing for 20 years at this point.
So for some reason, Ellison still planned on writing all the scripts he was contracted for, even though he's already walked off of
back, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, if you go, it doesn't matter what I write, I just have to write something and then I get paid. I would have stayed.
Yeah. I'm
gonna get that back.
They go to a it's a candy planet. Everything's made of taffy. episode 5.
Yeah. They go to a planet and then people are racist, but it turns out they're white.
Episode 7.
Yeah. Episode 8. What if society was ruled by women? That's pretty crazy, huh?
There's a talking planet,
money, please.
And it tells them that they can't go to the control room, and they got to find another way around.
Money, please.
Yeah. So the reason they suck.
It's so shit.
The reason they scaled the size of the ship down is incredible. Apparently, after walking off the show, someone went to Ellison and talked to him about it. And he told them that they couldn't shoot a 50-mile in diameter biosphere on the ship because it would look fuzzy on the horizon.
Okay.
And they were concerned that the background would get muddy. And so they decided to change it to 6 miles instead. And Ellison was like,
that's so stupid.
have you ever looked at the horizon? Like it looks fuzzy. Who cares? And they
that's so dumb.
They had to massively rewrite the script to decrease the scope.
It's like,
Ellison,
look, like if you're Ellison, you're like, hey, look over there. Look in that direction. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it look clear and sharp as far as you can see? No? There you go.
Yeah.
Imagine living in a biosphere where you go like, hey, please don't throw any rocks. You might hit the bulkhead.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a comically tiny space that they're trying to call it. But yeah, so Ellison
actually, no, wait. I have more bits. I have more bits. On this scale, the International Space Station would be my bathroom. We can't possibly film it on a bigger set. It'll look weird.
Oh my God. Okay, so Ellison says to the guy, why don't you just say that it's 60 miles and shoot it like it's 6? The audience won't know the difference. And the guy's like, oh shit, you're right. So he goes back and they end up turning around and filming it as 6 miles anyway. They don't say it in the series, but like canonically, the dome is 6 miles in diameter.
What the fuck is wrong with these people? These people are so stupid.
So
I think what happened is that all of these people are working with the star of 2001 and none of them have seen it.
Yeah.
I get the sense that like everybody besides like 5 guys on this production just don't fucking like sci-fi and don't get it.
Yeah, no, they don't give a shit.
Oh, absolutely, they don't get it.
So yeah, Ben Bova, who had been the science advisor on the show, also walked off. And that's how we got amazing things like the radiation virus, space senility.
Yeah.
Space senility is a thing in episode 4. The solar star they keep bringing up. It's because Ben Bova walked off. He said they paid him a shitload of money to find mistakes and find ways around them without destroying the scripts, and then just completely ignored everything he said.
What's it like to have somebody ask you for your help on scientific stuff and then ignore you? What's it like? Oh wait, I know what that's like.
I watched. I'm gonna give myself away a little. I watched a little bit of episode 4, which is the space senility episode, and they were like, "Oh my god, they've become space senile because they've experienced time dilation." And I was screaming because of so many reasons, but also why.
Here's the worst part. That is the best episode of the entire series.
Fuck you. No, it's not. That's
aside from the intense stupidity of space senility. That is the best episode of the entire series.
I will not be watching beyond what I was contracted to for this podcast.
I am speechless. That is insane.
Jesus Christ.
How is that the best episode?
You should continue watching. You'll find out.
No, you shouldn't.
When they go inside the computer and you see how they think electricity works.
Yes, I saw the images you sent me of them wandering around a big space that's largely empty, and then it looks like it's. Oh,
and you keep seeing people peeking inside the computer to tell them what's going on outside.
Okay, but like we at this point we've seen 2001. We've seen an interesting like inside of a computer set.
Yes. And for some reason, we got what we got.
Oh my God.
Not even that. We have the star of 2001, and he is now made to do this, and just go like, did none of you watch the movie?
Guys, I'm famous for this thing. None of you care?
Now I'm imagining some producer now going like, I don't have time to go to the movies.
I haven't seen a movie since I was 7 years old. Why would I watch a movie?
The funny thing is they did the computer stuff better in the space senility episode.
It's like that neurosurgeon who's like, yeah, I'm sure if I had children, I'm sure my wife would tell me about it.
I'm sure if people hated my movie, my assistant would tell me about it.
Yes. So Klenman defended the decision to ignore Ben Bova.
No, wait. I have one more bit. This is exactly like people. Yeah, no, this is exactly like people who don't read books, who have them summarized to them by an AI chatbot.
Listen. I'm a writer. I have written more books than I have read.
You're Garth Marenghi?
Oh, hell yes.
Garth Marenghi.
Listen, I would watch this TV show be remade by Garth Marenghi. That would be amazing.
Oh my god, that'd be so good.
Actually,
Klenman, now that I think about it, the sets were better in Garth Marenghi's
yes, they were.
Like
they
way
were
better.
Every way.
Hey, Liv, I have an idea for what you can suggest as the next episode.
No, we're saving that for Halloween.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Klenman defended the decision to ignore Ben Bova, saying Ben Bova was a nice guy and a big name in science fiction. But what has science fiction got to do with drama? Stories are stories, characters are characters. As head writer, I never found anything Mr. Bova had to say germane to our task. It was all sort of intellectual mumbo jumbo. He couldn't reduce it to clear, precise instructions. TV viewers are interested in the characters, not scientific theory or accuracy. We used very little of the latter two, and no one missed them. Bova was a talented man with a sure reputation. He was too courteous to cause a problem. He was just misplaced on this series.
I'm gonna fucking blow my own brains out. Jesus Christ. If I ever met this man, I would slap him.
I have a question. This is not really a question, it's more, this is after Star Trek, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek had been around for a while.
Yeah.
But of course, and none of these people have seen it.
And they were hoping, and NBC was really hoping this was going to be like their Star Trek killer. And that's where we're going to get into some of the most mindfuck bullshit in this. I can't wait for you to hear it.
Like, the 70s just sound like they fucking sucked if you were a sci-fi writer.
Yes. The 70s sucked for everyone.
Jesus
the only
Christ.
reason the 70s looked even remotely decent was that the 80s happened, and everyone was miserable for the entirety of the 80s. Except
but the 70s is
counterpoint,
when...
the 80s had cocaine.
But the 70s were when...
The 70s had Quaaludes.
Okay, but like the 70s were when Duke was turned into a vampire.
Right. Okay, so it's impossible to say whether it's good or not.
Bova's final thoughts on the series were summarized by saying, "The show got so ridiculous that I wrote a satirical novel about it called The Star-Crossed. It's based on what really happened during the production of The Starlost. Only the names have been changed to protect the guilty. The people involved were trying to do their best, but that wasn't good enough. What came out was undoubtedly the worst television series ever. A lot of time was spent staring into the camera." And on the budget, he said, "The less money you have, the more creative you have to be. The budget of The Starlost didn't make it a lousy show. It was that the people didn't know what they were doing. The people in the script department were tearing their hair out trying to write decent scripts. The production people were trying to get the show videotaped and in the can. The problem was that these people didn't understand what they were doing was bad. They were just concerned with shooting a number of script pages per day and getting the tape done."
You can see that on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very visible. It's a lot of people who are looking at their clock and going,
are we done to shoot the pilot, they had a 4-day shoot.
Okay, Elissa, what's that line? It's like, "Listen, of course it's good enough. We have 3 more scenes to film this tonight."
It's I don't remember the exact quote from Ed Wood, but it was which I love that movie so much. But yeah, it's like somebody's like, do you want to get a second take for safety? It's like, safety? We got 36 more scenes to shoot tonight. To shoot the pilot, they had a 4-day shoot, which is so short for 45 minutes. They had 7 days to edit. They had 3 more days to get the final thing out, the final master tape out. The actors,
what I'm hearing,
the actors did not get to do rehearsals.
No.
If you want to know why the performances are the way they are.
No.
Most of the episodes in the series were shot in 5 days.
No. No.
Yeah.
10 minutes per day?
They were shooting this shit week to week on a fucking South Park schedule.
Oh,
That is insane.
Lord.
It's wild to hear of a fully blown TV show that has less production values than this podcast.
Yes, we literally put more effort into this podcast. It's so depressing.
Okay, but a South Park schedule for a high concept 50-minute TV drama.
South Park, much less ambitious.
Indeed.
And speaking of ambition, at the time, Starlost was, in fact, the most ambitious series ever undertaken by a Canadian network.
Sure.
Not only that, but its release was a massive success.
What?
In its first 4 weeks on air, it took the #1 spot in its time slot in both New York and LA and received broadly favorable reviews.
Huh?
A Toronto Star columnist wrote that it's carried science fiction television a galactic step forward.
God, I fucking love when writers just like throw random space words into shit.
Yes, it's so great. He says,
Was nothing else on television at this point? Was it this or read a book?
It was Star Trek.
Star Trek. And here's the thing. He goes on to say, in depth of plot and sincerity of acting and staging, it was a world ahead of Star Trek. This is the best science fiction series ever to come to television.
Okay.
Another writer for the
Wow.
Montreal Star said, the Starlost shows every sign of inheriting the mantle of the phenomenally successful Star Trek.
Okay. But like, the Outer Limits exists. The Twilight Zone exists.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Both of those have been... have run for some time at this point.
I am not a massive fan of the original Star Trek show. I think it's fine, but I think it has a lot of issues and doesn't age well. Twilight Zone is like fucking timeless.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
It's so
just
good.
if you compare and contrast the Starlost with Star Trek, the original Star Trek.
Oh, it's so much worse. Like Star Trek is miles beyond this.
Okay. I haven't watched it, so I'm at a bit of a loss of like, what is 1970s television?
Yeah, I don't know
And
anything about
it's
Star Trek.
And like, we're like, what? A couple years from the original Battlestar Galactica coming out too.
Yeah. It comes out like 4 years after this.
Yeah.
The Starlost was the second highest rated series in Canada after Ironside, which is a detective show.
Ironside fucking rocks.
It had 200,000 viewers versus the 250,000 Ironside got. I've never seen Ironside.
Yeah. Ironside's about a guy that Ironside is about a detective that is in a wheelchair because he has polio, like FDR.
Yes.
And that's why he's called Ironside. I mean, also that's his name, but that's why his name is Ironside in the show.
Okay.
And he is a lead detective for a bunch of like rookie detectives, and it's just really fun.
Okay. Well, apparently it was a big hit in Canada.
My dad likes it.
While the Starlost was drawing a great audience, NBC felt that the show's sluggish pace needed improving. The notes they gave were, the program is slow, pick up the pace, more action, more cuts, faster cuts, fuller music and effects, and Keir seems to be lacking energy. By their own admission, they opted to go in the exact opposite direction with the series.
Okay, but like I respect that. I fucking respect that of like
Yeah.
more, faster, more action. And they're like, how about fuck you?
Yeah. Ellison had them take his name off the project and replace it with Cordwainer Bird, as in for the birds. His version of the pilot was published under the title Phoenix Without Ashes. That was his original title for the first episode before they changed it to Voyage of Discovery. The ratings were up and down week to week over the course of the series. The network was getting jumpy about it, and they were, I think, pissed about being slighted over the please pick up the pace thing. But there's plenty of precedent for series to continue and even get a second series if execs think that there's potential. It's very normal.
That's what happened to Arrested Development.
Yeah. I mean, it also happened with It's Always Sunny. It happened with like Jack of All Trades. You know, all the great
Jack of
TV
all
shows.
trades.
And you know, a lot of times you'll see series where like they'll change really dramatically over the course of their first season or two, and like that's why that happens. And this is kind of no exception. They do change the series quite a bit as it goes, but it's still poop. And it didn't finish its first season. And yeah, ultimately they decided to pull the plug on this after 16 episodes, although 18 had been written. So they got through 2/3 of their first season before NBC pulled the plug on them. And to pull out another fantastic Klenman quote here, he said, NBC was looking for immediate results and an instant hit. 16 episodes was very little to judge it on. They probably killed it because of its technical quality, but it was well shot, beautifully edited, and had good music. These series take years to catch on, just as Mr. Spock's ears took years to catch on.
None of that is true.
They have to make their money tomorrow or they're dead. If they stayed with it, the Starlost might have been one of the greatest success stories they ever had.
Okay, speaking nothing of the editing or the cinematography, both of which were not very good. The music might be the worst music I have ever heard in an audio-visual project.
It's painful.
Yeah, it's very awful.
It's genuinely like, dear listener, I recommend that you find it on YouTube or somewhere. The music is so bad. It's like really shitty electronic theremin, maybe music. Like it sounds like if John Carpenter had Parkinson's disease.
It does. Clinton goes on here to say the ratings in Canada were never a problem. If it had only been Canadian audiences, the Starlost would have run indefinitely. But while Fox was keen to keep the show going to a point, they weren't going to finance the whole thing. They had to have a financial commitment from NBC. NBC looked at the ratings and didn't think it was going to make it, so they let it go. On the 15th episode, we got the cancellation notice. An embarrassed executive at CFTO, which is a Canadian TV station, said to me, "Do you mind if we fire you today instead of next week?" So they could save money on the 16th show. I said, "No, let me out." I had a lot of other work piling up in LA. Personally, the cancellation was not a big disappointment. I just felt NBC was depriving itself of the show.
Fucking Christ.
Yes.
You know, the only good Canadian TV channel is that one from Videodrome.
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
The one that makes your body eat itself.
The one that only shows snuff films and turns you into a monster.
Yeah.
Ed Richardson, the producer and director of several of the episodes, he's an associate producer, said, in Canada, you only need an audience of 200,000 people to be a success. We did okay because there was a science fiction audience out there. We were very close to being renewed. We thought we would do okay in America because we were delivering a show for a lot less than Americans could deliver a show. But simply, if the ratings had been higher, we would have been renewed.
Well, yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah.
If the ratings had been higher, we would have been, okay.
Yes.
If we made more money, we would have had money.
Yeah, if this pod made money at all, we could all be rich someday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Listen,
this pod has made I'm being told that I've spent $50 on this pod and have made no money.
Yeah, currently this pod is at negative $100. So, actually no, it's we're probably negative 200 at this point.
Yeah, not counting any of the equipment used to make this pod.
Yes.
No, I'm counting. Yeah. I'm counting the microphone that I bought for this pod.
Should I count the price of my equipment?
Okay, no, you didn't buy that equipment for this pod, so no.
Had the show continued, they planned to do episodes with guest stars such as Richard Basehart, Leslie Nielsen, Patrick McNee, William Shatner, and Gordon Pinson.
Oh my God.
I would have loved to seen this with Leslie Nielsen.
Okay, but remember, this was when Leslie Nielsen was doing dramatic roles.
Yeah, he was purely a drama guy at this point.
But like, could you imagine this as his first?
Best known for doing a very famous sci-fi movie.
He was also in Creepshow and was great in it.
Yes.
God, I love Creepshow 1.
There were plans to recruit established sci-fi writers to create story ideas for a second season.
Do you know who would have been a great writer for this show?
Exactly. Stephen
King.
Harlan Ellison with the assistance of Ben Bova.
That's what I thought.
I was just like, you already had established sci-fi writers and you ran them off. What the fuck?
Did you like my little goof?
Yes.
Yeah.
Klenman said about the series, talk about cult shows. The series has been shown around the world. I've been dragooned to speak in San Francisco.
That's not a verb, you fucking... What?
You hack.
Is he a daring dragoon?
To speak in San Francisco to Starlost fans. My daughter was in New Orleans and called to say she had met a bunch of nuts who watched Starlost and remembered it. I was in England once and somebody came up and shook my hand saying, "You're Norman Klenman from the Starlost. That was the greatest TV series ever made." The Starlost could be revived today using modern technology, but with the same scripts, I still consider it a successful show in that it took off in syndication.
No, it couldn't.
Klenman did not have a meaningful career in TV or film production after the show was canceled, believe it or not. In 1975, he and a business partner established a company that opened a TV station in Vancouver. He operated CKVU TV until 1989, when the station was sold to CanWest Broadcasting. He then retired and published the Salt Spring Island Tattler for 10 years, edited other screenwriters' work, and it completed several original feature film screenplays, none of which, to my knowledge, were ever sold. He died in 2023 at 99 years old.
A life well lived?
Wait, at how old?
99.
Oh god, I heard 29 and I was like, huh?
He was a baby when he was doing all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gay Rowan, who played Rachel, did a couple of TV bit roles for another decade and then retired. Robin Ward, who plays Garth, had a modest career in TV and films doing like bit roles. His most recent credit was 2015.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And one final note that I have here as we wrap this up, to give you an idea of the creative genius of Mr. Norman Klenman. He pushed for there to be a scene where they found the Ark's control center finally. And his quote, this is directly from him: "I wanted them to find a remote part of the ship where the central computers were, where you could steer the ship. I wanted a 3-floor set, 50 feet high, and to have a steering wheel on top that would be from an old sailing ship. I thought it would be a wonderfully out of time thing, but nobody got the joke."
The joke?
There was a joke in there?
Like, I get, like, no, it's anachronistic and kind of funny, but like, that's not the vibe of the show.
Right. It's like, he wanted to do that in this show, which has 0 jokes. It's
like,
funny because it sucks.
Like, it would have been funny in a show where that was the tone.
Yeah,
like,
if it was like wacky hijinks the whole time.
Buddy,
it would.
You don't understand the show that you run.
Yeah. And at the end of the day,
crazy.
like, he is truly the creative, mind behind the show. The only real Harlan Ellison here is the basic premise in the first episode.
So Harlan Ellison shat out a golden premise that he didn't even really like that much.
Yeah.
And then Norman Klenman, Klenman, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Norman Klenman, the most vapid man on the planet, picked it up and
dumbest and most confident guy,
and said, "I can do better than that."
Yeah,
and then
all this sucks.
and then Shad just poop on the egg that Harlan Ellison had shat out and was like, see, it's better now.
Was it better?
Exactly.
No.
No, not at all. Okay, well, I guess we get to talk about episode 2 now. God.
Don't do this to me, please.
We're doing it, buddy.
Now we're going to go through episode synopses of the remaining 9 episodes that I have seen.
No, we're not. Fuck you. Episode 2, Lazarus from the Mist.
Oh my God.
This is what we're doing.
Okay.
It's so dumb.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
we have to.
We can speed through it. You made me watch these 3 episodes. We're going to talk about them. Okay. So in this, and genuinely, we're not doing play-by-play
you didn't really need
here.
to make notes about the other 2. It was more for reference, from what the series is like going forward.
Okay, but I just want.
There are a couple of things here that I want to note as well.
Yeah.
Just episode 2 have them meeting some quote unquote cavemen who are devolved humans who have just lived in the hallways, I guess.
Yeah, they
go
live
to
in hallways.
They're descendants of the crew of the ship.
Yeah. So specifically, they're descendants of people that were guarding the cryogenic storage area.
Yeah. This is what happens if you leave doctors to their own devices for 400 years. They turn into cavemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, one thing immediately jumps to mind. So the Amish people in their teeny tiny 6-mile dome, they still have a functioning society, but the people who aren't in the dome, they become Morlocks.
Yeah. I wrote Morlock too.
God damn
it. Okay, so I just have some notes about this. They find another computer station and are like, oh, we need some help. And the computer's like, oh, there's a bunch of frozen scientists right over there.
Yeah, 17 engineers in this section. Do you want to
Yeah, that helped build the Ark. So they unfreeze one of them at random. Just the first guy alphabetically.
They do this while they're fleeing angry cavemen.
Yeah. So he turns out to have been a communication engineer, so not that helpful for their purposes, but able to explain to them that there is an ancillary bridge. But more importantly, it turns out that he's dying of a quote radiation virus, and he only has 2 hours to live.
It's so dumb. So two things immediately here. One, he's useful. 2, he's dying. It's pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's also not that useful because he's got fucking freezing sickness and can't remember everything.
But also, he built the radios on the ship. He didn't he can't help you with the steering.
Right?
Yeah. So, here's my question. Why not just refreeze him and go unfreeze one of the other engineers who is not, presumably not dying of a radiation virus?
It is so bizarre. We never ever get to see anyone else get unfrozen. I'm just why did there
They just give up on the idea.
Yeah.
And ultimately find an empty dome that's just sitting there nearby and give the fucking cavemen that.
Yes. They give the empty dome to the cavemen and then they lock them in.
Yes. It's not even hey, we'll just leave the door cracked for you in case you need to.
Yeah, no.
You know?
And yes, they want to come back to where your people have been for 400 years, generations of.
Did you know why there was an entire empty dome?
Was it everybody? It was that's where their families had been, and.
No, it's much dumber. It was the retirement dome where you go when you have worked for your entire life in the tunnels. You go and retire in the dome.
Why not live in the dome and then work in the tunnels?
Many such questions.
Where did these people live before the accident?
What did they eat while they were
living
living in the cryo warrens?
None of it makes a lick of sense.
It makes no sense.
Okay.
Listen, audiences don't care about that stuff. They just want people monologuing to each other.
Now, important note. At one point, the Morlocks all Nazi saluted each other. Just one time. Yes. That's it.
It's a way more interesting premise for the series.
Yes. They're all descended from Nazis. But no, they just Nazi salute for no reason.
That would have been really funny. Just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's episode 2. It was stupid.
It's so dumb.
Extremely
that
so.
really is like everything that happens in that episode.
Yeah. Episode 3.
That's 50 minutes.
Yeah.
How is it so long?
Episode 3. They go to a dome and they're like, hey, we heard there's books here. Literally the entire impetus for the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we heard there are books
information.
here.
They're supposed to be trying to find the auxiliary bridge.
Yes.
And no.
No, we heard there's books here, so we're here. They get caught by like guards who look like they are dressed up for Twink Night at the gay bar.
Yeah. It's
they're wearing like silver pants and black tank tops.
Yeah, it's like they are going to head to the gay disco and they are dressing in fucking... They're dressing like they made fucking Roman centurion outfits at home from memory. And the plan is really to not be wearing these clothes for more than 10 minutes after they arrive. Like
Yeah,
they look like strippers.
Exactly. But they see Rachel and they go, a woman.
A woman?
Yeah.
So it turns out that all the women died like hundreds of years ago, and they call it the Holocaust.
Just straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Oh, wow, we haven't seen women since the Holocaust. And they've been like growing people in vats. The quote, double X chromosome went extinct, which is like, that's not how that works. There is not a double X chromosome.
Don't worry about it.
It's not.
These are all manly men that only have Y chromosomes.
Yeah. So it turns out that like the whole premise of this episode is that there is a governor that became the leader of the dome through combat, and he's worried that somebody else is going to challenge him to combat and kill him as he gets older. There is also a church leader who like is a church leader. I don't know. There's nothing interesting about him.
The prophecy.
But these are the two institutions, okay? They burned all the books hundreds of years ago, and the only people with any books anymore is the church. And so they're like, we want to read your books. And it's like, only priests can read the books. But also, we want to kill you and marry Rachel, because if I marry... Oh, right, because they think Rachel's a goddess because she's a woman. Literally. Like, this plot is really...
Yeah, they go like, oh, wow, a woman.
Yeah. This is one of multiple episodes where the plot is, what if somebody tried to marry Rachel?
And also, I didn't mention it, but like, as we've established in episode 2, Rachel's entire role on the show is to be a woman. That's it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this show doesn't consider women anything other than props.
At one
and that
point,
never gets any better.
At one point, Rachel asks Steven, "Are you going to let me make my own decisions?" Like, what do you mean, let me make my own decisions? Yeah. That doesn't.
Wait, is this before or after women could have credit cards in the US?
I don't know.
I think this is before. Yeah, Kleinman, I didn't include this quote, but there was a bit in what I was reading where Kleinman was like talking about how he was basically playing himself up as like this big feminist hero because he said that Rachel should be able to run on her own without men like grabbing her by the elbows and pulling her.
Oh wow.
Okay. This is the Starlost is filmed the year before women gained equal access to credit cards, which happened in 1974.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yikes.
Capitalism's so good at giving people rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at one point in episode 3, this governor guy, he arrests Garth and Devin. Like, but it's like nice arrest where they get as much fruit as they want. They just can't leave. Honestly, I've seen worse prison cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in space jail where they get to eat fruit. Where does the fruit come from? Don't worry about it.
I mean, I'm sure they
Nobody
have like
knows.
greenhouses. They don't show them.
They live. They live
them.
in a dome that's 6 miles across.
That's true. So he has Rachel with him, and he's like, "I'm going to marry you because everyone thinks you're a goddess, and if I marry you, I'll be a god, and no one will challenge me, and I won't get murdered." And it's like, fair enough, I guess. But she says, describing like their reason for being there, she says, bring them back, the men, and they will explain. Why can't you explain, Rachel?
Because she's not a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't. An interesting note about this episode is when they have their dumb stick fight at the end of the episode. They couldn't afford choreographers or anything, and so they were just winging it. And,
so is that why at one point he literally just starts like thrusting his stick at Devon?
Yes, and
that sounds
there is
dangerous.
a take in there where Keir Dullea actually hits the guy.
Yeah.
They left this take in despite the fact that he hit the guy hard enough that he gave him a concussion.
Hell yeah.
And he had to go to the hospital and they had to stop filming for the day.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So that guy actually takes a true shot in there.
Hey, maybe hire a choreographer so that you don't kill your actors.
Not at $100,000 a day and forget about it.
And I will say, there is one well-acted scene in that episode between the governor guy and the priest guy where they're just talking about the interplay of their two institutions. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's like interesting world building.
There's one thing. The priesthood feels sort of like the Mechanicus from Warhammer 40k.
Oh yeah.
Which I think this might actually be predate Warhammer.
Is this where they got the idea?
Maybe. But it's like they have like the book that they have is like a manual for how the ship works, and they spend lifetimes reading like fucking technical manuals and trying to understand what they mean.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's interesting.
I do like that as a touch.
That's interesting if you're predating Mechanicus, I guess.
Oh, wait. Warhammer is from 1987, so we're like 15 years ahead of it almost.
Also, nobody gives a shit about Warhammer, you fucking nerds. You nerds. No one cares.
You care. You love it.
By being angry, you have shown you cared.
Elissa, we're all trans here. Let's not pretend that we don't care about Warhammer.
Either way, that's the only interesting thing in that episode, and it is not explored.
It's a bad show. Don't watch it. It should be illegal.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of talking about Starlost, a show that I believe should be illegal. Elissa, do you think that this should be watched by anyone else? Ever?
Absolutely not. Also, one minor note about the terrible visual effects that I thought I had in here, and I actually didn't. Part of the reason that keying was so shitty, they eventually dialed it in better in the later episodes. Part of the reason it was so bad, though, is that they had to shoot all of this on tape.
Oh, no.
And, normally you would shoot this on film. So, part of the reason it looks like shit is that it was shot on tape.
Oh, my God.
Oh, so it's like a Xerox of a Xerox.
Very early magnetic tape.
So that's why it looks like it was a VHS video game.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That is
so I think that Starlost should be Starlost.
Yes, it absolutely should. We should, I think, lose this particular set of stars in the archive.
Yeah.
Oh no, nothing is. Nothing is ever removed or destroyed. It is just put under the jurisdiction of censored art.
Yes.
And with that, this has been Art Should Be Illegal. I hope you've enjoyed this wonderful trip down the shittest memory lane that ever was. I certainly enjoyed talking about this TV show. Despite
remind me to pick something lower effort next time. I keep picking things I do a lot of work on.
Yeah, this is like, do you not have a full-time job
Doing
outside
Captain
of this?
EO was so refreshing because I didn't have to do anything.
Listen, I had to do research on Captain EO, and I had to do it while I was at work because I just ran out of time.
I wrote almost 4,000 words on this.
Okay, I only wrote about 1,000 words for Captain EO.
and we love you for it. For the next episode, you can take a step back, you can relax. We're going to be in good company with Hideo Kojima and his Death Stranding and what that is about.
We're going to talk about Death Stranding?
Death Stranding? Okay.
Sure.
Oh, no.
I'm not replaying the whole game for this.
I almost certainly will not be replaying that whole game. I have played it before. It's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about it. But for now, goodbye.
This will be our first time doing a game. That'll be so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'll be the
that'll
first
fun.
video game.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Norman Reedus and his funky fetus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some names and some people. Anyway,
Bye.
See ya.
toodles.